Hello YouTube, this is SWLA Mech 84. I've decided that even after all that work I did to fix my roller steady rest so that I can support this tube, that it would just be better if I parted it off and made this tube into two pieces. You can see here I got it chucked up. I just sharpened my parting tool, and I'm gonna take it easy and hand feed it. I don't want it to get caught up anywhere when it punches through. So I'm gonna get this thing cut in half, and then I'm gonna put a threaded connection so that I can put it back together. This will make it much easier for me to get a good concentric bore, and overall easier for me to handle in my small lathe. If I had a big enough bore all the way through, this would be an issue, but plus the boring bar, even when I finish the boring bar, I can't hang out enough to get a good, one pass bore through there. And I think this will just be the best way to do it. So let's see if we can't mess anything up. Slow down a little bit. Need to extend my bit just a tiny bit. I thought I had it right. It's sticking out just shy of where it needs to be. That worked out fairly well. Alright, got a pretty decent finish on here. And that cut pretty well. That's basically removable there. Not a whole lot of work. And now I'll be able to slide this in all the way. And that shouldn't surpass the general rule is 2 times diameter. So that will be 5 inches. And that should be pretty rigid. I mean, I've turned farther than that before, but I always try to stick to what it's supposed to. The stuff in the books isn't just in there because somebody guessed at it. And I'll probably need to leave a little bit of space so that I can bore through and I can see my boring bar here, because the bore of the spindle is smaller than the bore of this. Let's see, I'm at 2.5 OD. I'm just an inch over where your 2 times diameter is, so that should be good. I'll just have to baby it a little bit. I do have pretty good grip on my jaws there. So even though I did all that work to fix up this roller steady rest here, which works, And I'll use it again in the future because this is not the only suppressor I'm going to build. And just for everybody's information, that I am building a firearm suppressor. This is a 308 caliber suppressor. I'm probably not going to go into details on the actual baffle design and everything. I may, but most of my detail on this is going to be on the tube, and then maybe I'll put some videos up of it when I'm shooting it. But I have applied for all the proper paperwork. I have got the proper tax stamp, gone through all the channels that I'm supposed to legally build and own and shoot a firearm suppressor in the state of Louisiana. You know, this is just for educational purposes. Don't think that anybody can just go out and make one. You have to check with your local law enforcement and your state laws. And fortunately here in Louisiana, now that you know I'm in Louisiana, of course you hear my air conditioner going in the background. It's 80 something degrees outside on December the 2nd. It's wonderful. So, but this is what I'm building here. And I'm going to go through the process of my tube and everything else. I've been wanting to do this since I was a young kid, and I've finally gone through the process of getting all the paperwork in order and received everything I needed from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And I've seen other people put videos up of building silencers on the internet, on YouTube, and I don't know if they have an issue with that, but I don't know how much I'll get into the overall baffle design. I may do one or two just to kind of show you an idea of what it is. There's plenty of videos out there where people are taking apart their normal suppressors that they've bought off the shelf. And my parting tool worked very well. I sharpened it earlier on my tool sharpener. You can see here, it actually made a nice curl. I know that's probably not optimal all the time, but it would have been a little bit cleaner there if I would have stoned the edge, but I didn't even hone it. I didn't even touch it with a stone. I did it straight off of one of those Harbor Freight grinders like Mr. Keith Fender uses in his video that he rebalanced and everything. Mine's not quite so nice, but I dressed the wheel and sharpened up a couple of my bits, and I made a couple of other bits. To use for some of this, because I am going to be putting a thread in here. I have a little drawing that I made. I actually wanted to have a guide this time. I don't know if you can really, yeah, you can kind of see that. But this is a drawing I made on Autodesk Inventor of the actual threaded connections that I'm going to use with all my dimensions and everything, and the steps required. That kind of gives me a little go by. That way I'm not working just off the seat of my pants, and it's a little harder to mess something up if I have a nice drawing here to go by. And I didn't have any normal paper. I had to print it on grid paper, but this helps out a lot. So you can see that this is going to be basically the threaded connection here. I'm going to have a thread, and then I'm going to have a shoulder register that's up barely a thousandth and a half shy of the other one, so that I have extra alignment right here. Now, I'm going to be taking quite a bit of material off this tube, but I am modeling this in 3D using Inventor while I go, just so I can check everything. But I've made another tool here, and that's kind of a strange tool, but it's worked well for me in the past. Hopefully it'll work again. I can't find the original one that I did. It's got a very small nose radius on it, and it's very, very sharp, and that hopefully it'll give me some nook and cranny access and clean up this pipe pretty well. I also had to make a small grooving tool, which is pretty ugly, but it'll work, so that I can put a thread relief inside and thread into a valley every time, because I'm trying not to make this thing, I have a set length that I have to stay on that I've submitted on my paperwork, so I can't deviate from that length, otherwise it won't match, and when I put the serial number on this, it'll be incorrect, and I don't want any problems with that. But I'm going to use this. I can put grooves here and there where I need thread reliefs, and that'll just be a basic turning tool so that I can maybe get a pretty decent finish, and I'll be able to reach in some of the smaller places here that I need to. And I'll be using my internal threading tool. I have a nice internal threading tool that I'll be using for this. As you can see here, it's a profile insert. I had to grind the back of it off so I could get down to some smaller holes. The minimum size hole was, I believe, 5/625 or 9/16, and I ground it down and I can put 1/2" threads with it now. But I'll use this to put my internal threads, and then it's possible I may just come to the other side on the back side and run my lathe in reverse and thread the outside with it, because it puts really nice threads. It's very sharp, and I have a lot of inserts with it. I haven't even broken a tip on one of these things, and I have a whole pack of them. So, and it does really good. I like the threads that it makes. It's razor sharp for a carbide tool. It does a really good job. So that's going to be my next series of videos here, going through and putting the connections on my tube. When I'm done, hopefully, if I don't mess anything up too bad, I'll be able to just reconnect these tubes here with a threaded connection, and then I'll have threaded connections that go on either end of these tubes to accept end caps and things like that. So that's just a quick little video for right now on what I've done so far on parting off this tube, and stand by for more. Thank you.